You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, B&B fans. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt. And here's what I want to talk about today. Is Bold about to have Thomas go dark again? And is it all Hope's fault? So recent scenes have me very concerned that Bold and the Beautiful is about to send Thomas off the deep end again. On Monday's episode, Hope was using Thomas like a booty call yet again to get her mind off her troubles with her dad and Sheila, but her mother Brooke called her out and said she's playing with fire. Is Brooke actually right about this? Let's talk about it. If you haven't already though, please reach down, click subscribe so you don't miss any of our updates. So to me, I'm assuming you guys heard the same thing I heard. Brooke was basically comparing Hope and Thomas to Sheila and Deacon. That's what I heard anyway. Despite Thomas's sketchy past, before he got much needed brain surgery, you know, he's still not even in Sheila's league as a villain. Even if you believe every single bad thing that has ever been said about Thomas on the show, he still does not hold a candle to the nine-toed menace of LA. I think we can all agree on that. She's in a class of her own. I do wonder if Brooke Logan would have thrown that shade if Ridge Forrester had been in the room. You know, she's been pretty careful to hide her consistent and ongoing hatred of his son, Thomas, in front of him. But she seems now legitimately concerned that Hope is going to wind up the focus of Thomas's obsession again. And if they do start writing Thomas Forrester as obsessed and going dark, I would fully blame Hope Logan for it. Not only is Hope playing with fire, but she's stacking up logs and pouring gasoline on it. At this point, she has gone beyond using Thomas for sex. She has turned into an emotional vampire. I'm going to talk about what that is if you don't know in just a minute. Hope Logan keeps telling Thomas that she doesn't love him, but she also keeps demanding that he tell her how much that he loves her. Remember today, well, I guess yesterday on Monday, where she was saying, tell me again. She wants to hear it. And it seems so twisted and selfish to me. But at the same time, Thomas doesn't seem to mind saying what she wants to hear and doing what she wants him to do. It's like he's her love slave, you know? He's willing, but that doesn't mean that this isn't toxic for him. And that's my concern. Despite her hatred of Thomas, Brooke is actually echoing the same exact concerns that both Ridge and Taylor Hayes have about this fling between Thomas and Hope. They are all very worried that the progress he's made is going to be ruined. Taylor and Ridge fully think that Hope is going to ruin him, while Brooke seems to suspect that, you know, Thomas is going to fall off the deep end, but, you know, she, of course, will not blame her daughter for it, even though this is 100% Hope. After having brain surgery, remember, Thomas was in very bad shape. He had a brain injury. He was having hallucinations about that Hope mannequin talking to him and all that. I mean, he was kissing a life-size doll. And then he collapsed. Remember, Hope found him and she called 911. He got that brain surgery he clearly needed. And then he went through intensive therapy. And this last time, it was real therapy. It wasn't just video sessions with his mother. Thomas had a real not that Taylor's a real therapist, but you're not supposed to give therapy to your family. Thomas had a real therapist, not a family member, who got real results. He was doing fine. He was able to show up to Forrester Creations, work around Hope without making any moves. He was conducting himself appropriately and professionally. He was co-parenting without, fixating on her. He was fine. And then Hope lost her mind. She was having these very vivid, very erotic daydreams about Thomas. Every time he was near her, tailoring a gown or just working, she she was just having all these lusty thoughts. She was even fantasizing about Thomas while she was in bed with Liam. And then Hope basically jumped at Thomas tongue first in Italy. That was, of course, the scene that Liam saw of her kissing him. And the moment that Liam said he didn't want to work on their marriage, she sped over to Thomas's house, ripped off her wedding ring, followed by her clothes, and just jumped on the T train. Since then, she's getting sexy with him as often as she can and every single place she can on every solid surface in Forrester Creations. So many people have walked in on them at work, and that's because Hope can't keep it in her pants. And that's what was going on when Brooke started pounding on the door and demanded to be let into the CEO office on Monday. And then, of course, Brooke laid into Hope and started all her stuff about comparing Hope and Thomas to Deacon and Sheila. And boy, did that infuriate Hope, especially after Brooke called Thomas Forrester a ticking time bomb. Of course, then Bold and the Beautiful treated us to a side-by-side shot of Hope looking thoughtful and a little angry and Thomas looking kind of ominous. But is Bold really about to turn Thomas Forrester dark again? If so, I do think it's going to set off fans, both factions, the fans that like Thomas with Hope and those that do not. For those that think Thomas is a psycho who's hiding his true colors, they're going to feel justified if Thomas goes dark again. But I think they're also going to be mad that the soap paired him with Hope. And for those that have been waiting patiently to see Thomas and Hope have a real romance, I think they're going to be upset that B&B is ruining it. So I think that Brooke Logan is ready and almost eager to believe that Thomas Forrester hasn't changed. And I do also think she truly lumps him into the same basket as she does Sheila Carter. But is that really where Bold is about to go? Is Hope Logan about to ruin Thomas Forrester's life? And is Brooke completely ignoring all the red flags that her daughter is the one who seems obsessed right now? Hope is using Thomas openly, not only for the big O's, but also to soothe herself emotionally, like a security blanket. It's like she is actively feeding off his love for her. As I mentioned before, that's what an emotional vampire does. They suck up the feelings from somebody to feed themselves. And I definitely feel like that's what Hope is doing right now. Or the alternative is Hope has fallen for him, but she doesn't want to admit it out loud because she's struggling with it herself. And of course, Brooke would flip her lid and go nuclear. So I do like on the last episode that Hope told Brooke she does not have to justify herself to her mother or anyone else. Then again, maybe Hope wouldn't have to justify herself to anyone if she could keep her panties on at work, because she's not doing a great job of that lately. So I am pretty much, though, I was laughing kind of out loud at Monday's episode when I was watching Hope and Thomas getting ready to do the deed on the CEO desk. And then I was picturing Ridge coming in there with his morning coffee and his bagel and setting it on the same desk where they just did everything they did. So I wonder if Brooke's going to tell Ridge what she walked in on, and that, you know, the CEO office may need to be deep cleaned. I thought it was pretty funny. They were on the sofa, they were on the desk, they were everywhere. All right. I'm sorry. It tickled me pretty bad. So what do you think, guys? Is Thomas about to turn dark again, or is Brooke just throwing shade and is completely blind to Hope being the one either with the problem or the one who's causing a potential problem? What do you think? Where is this going? Share your comments below. I love reading your comments. I read them all. I don't always have time to reply, but I definitely read every single one of them. If you enjoyed this conversation, definitely click a like. And if you haven't already, please click subscribe so you don't miss any of our Bold updates. Thanks for talking soaps with me here every day, guys. This has been Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.